Yeah, hi there. These comments, I'm going to just use your initials, AS, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Alright, in your specific situation, you put together a very nicely written email here. Now, I have an observation I want to make here. Now, I know Pranash. She's actually one of my students in my online course right now. She also told me that you would be contacting me, so I've been waiting for your email. Now, the one thing that I really want to ask you about right now is you've been living in America for 4 years. You say no friends except for the Nepalese people living here. So you know people here, but most of these people belong to your own ethnic group. Now you got to break out of that circle a little bit more, because the only way you're going to get 26 is you have to really develop a near native speaking, I think, proficiency of American English. And one of the best ways to do that is to begin to identify with the new culture, and you can identify with the new culture by making friends here. So maybe you're religious. Maybe there's a church that you can attend here in the United States in English. I guarantee you, if you go to a church here in the United States, you will definitely make friends. So you need to have contact with native speakers. Now, I want you to write this down. Go to Toastmasters.org. I think it's Toastmasters.org. Let me check just right now. Yeah, it's Toastmasters.org. Toastmasters. Toastmasters.org. That's the first thing you want to do after you hear my video today. You need to join Toastmasters group. There's probably a group in your city right now here in the United States, and you can start speaking English with native speakers, and you'll build a network. You will be able to make some friends there and reach out and start talking with people here in the United States. That's step number one. Again, if you are religious, you can join a church here and start attending the English-speaking church, and that will also give you opportunities. But really, you got to be serious here. You need to create as many opportunities as you can. All right, so let's keep going here now. Also, your speaking score right now is 23. Your overall score is 107, at least about a year ago. So you have very good academic English speaking abilities. Your speaking's not terrible. It's just not at the goal of 26, which is what you're looking for, right? So what does it mean when you get 23? So I want to explain a few things for you so you can understand, and this helps explain why it's important for you to use English with native speakers. If you're scoring around 23, you have some minor difficulties with pronunciation, intonation, or pacing, and it requires listener effort. That means that you have to watch a lot of movies right now. You have to talk to a lot of speakers right now. Even when you're talking to your toddler, if you can speak in English and practice your English with your toddler's not going to mind. Right? So the next thing, language use. You have fairly natural sounding grammar and vocabulary, but sometimes you have imprecise or incorrect use of vocabulary or grammar structures. Or you're limited in the vocabulary and the grammar that you use. That's another problem with your speaking. Now, the last problem is topic development. So sometimes you're not fully developing your ideas. You need to explain some of your general points with more specific detail. That's also a possible problem. These are the 3 areas that you need to work on right now. Alright, so let's take a look. So you're planning on taking the test on May 21st, 2016. So what I would do if I were you, I would do this, because the TOEFL test is $200, right? In my opinion, now you can do whatever you want, I'm just giving you my opinion. In my opinion, join my online course, start posting speaking practice tests. You want to do my pronunciation pre-test also, and then you can figure out what types of vowel, consonant sounds, and other pronunciation problems you're having. You also find out, as you start doing your speaking practice, what other issues you have to solve. Normally, to go 3 points higher from 24, 25, 26, you're probably looking at about 40 to 45 hours for each point that you need. That's about how much practice you have to do. So you really need about 20 or 30 at least practice tests that you're going to want me to evaluate. Now, if you know Pranash, she's doing a wonderful job. She's working very hard. She already knows a lot of the tips and tricks on how to get a high score on speaking, because she's already been submitting practice tests with me for the last month or so. So you guys can practice your speaking together, which I think will be helpful. And then you can also start sending me speaking practice tests. So that's what you want to do pretty much, is when you join my course, start focusing on the pronunciation and the speaking areas. That's really important. Now, in addition to that, with your extra time, now I know you have a toddler, and you can post your speaking practice test during the day if you want. There's no problem if your toddler makes a lot of noise or is distracting. In fact, it's a good idea to do that, because when you go and take the TOEFL exam, as you know, it's quite loud during the speaking section. There's a lot of distraction in the test center. So if you post some of your speaking responses with that type of distraction with your toddler, I know toddlers are going to make a lot of noise, and that would actually be very, very good for you in preparing you. You see what I'm saying? So these are some of my recommendations for you right now. Now, my point is this. After you do some practice tests for a few weeks, what you can do, instead of taking the TOEFL exam, I have another website. I think it'll cost you about $19. And at that website, you can do you can do the speaking section of the TOEFL exam, and you'll get somebody else. It's better when you do that practice test, have somebody who's neutral who will listen to your speaking. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, come on in. I'll be right here. I'm just talking to somebody. Yeah, it's okay. Come on in. So that's what I recommend. So what I'd recommend is after you've done some practice for a few weeks, then you take a section-specific speaking practice test. All 6 of your speaking tasks will be scored. If your score is close to 26, then that means you're ready. That means you can actually register to take the TOEFL test, and then we'll see how you do there. All right, so congratulations on your high score of 107. It's terrible, really, that your speaking is not high enough, because 23 is not terrible by any means. That's a good, strong score, but I understand that you need 26. All right, anyway, thank you very much for your comments, and all the best to your high-scoring speaking success.